OK, it is full time in the WSL and Chelsea are champions, Leanne. 5-0, what a way to do it.
Yeah, deservedly so. I mean, I said it before and it sounds strange me saying Reading actually did play to the best of their ability, but Chelsea are just too good. And, you know, Emma made 5 changes in the second half, but Frank Kirby and Sam Kerr stay on the field because they have to. They've made that, I mean, Sam Kerr coming into this lineup is exactly what Chelsea needed. You know, Beth England actually done really well last season, but the strength in depth for Chelsea is fantastic. And, you know, they've won the league today and the celebrations are quite, you know, not as animated as last week because they still got, next week is a big game as well, you know, Champions League finals. So great to see the respect they're showing to each other. Fantastic game. And yeah, Chelsea are just too good.
Yeah, they are quite muted celebrations. As you say, they've still got a bit of work to do because they're on track for that quadruple.
Yeah, and they, I mean, they can definitely do it. I think with a game like today, I would have loved to have seen Farrah Williams get on the score sheet, even if, you know, she's going to be disappointed in her last game for a team to have lost 5-0 because Farrah isn't that type of player that wants to score because it's her last game. But, you know, today, it's Farrah's last game in football. She's been one of the best players, you know, our country's ever seen. So I'm a bit disappointed for her that she didn't manage to get on the score sheet or get a goal. But, you know, Chelsea are the champions and deservedly so. But it just goes to show you what happens when the team puts an investment into the club, and Chelsea men have backed the women's team and they've been able to bring in star players, and Pernilla Harder's one of them, and she's made a difference as well.
Yeah, we'll talk more Chelsea, but Siobhan, you were watching the game between West Ham and Manchester City. In the end, there was nothing they could have done in terms of the title. How disappointed will City be?
Yeah, extremely frustrated. It's the second year in a row that they finished second in the league, and they'll be so frustrated because there were moments in the season that they probably dropped a few points. You look at the game against Manchester United where they were 2-0 up at half-time and then lost it. Well, they lost 2 points by drawing 2-2 with them, and there are moments like that that have cost them ultimately because they've put in a good run towards the end of the season. They got the result today. As with Chelsea, with muted celebrations when they won the league, Manchester City, you can imagine they weren't really celebrating having won today.
Yeah. And your take on Chelsea this season, I mean, has it been a bit of a masterclass from them?
It has, and I know Leanne's spoken quite a bit about the attacking play. I'm going to speak up for goalkeepers here. And Katrin Berger has been outstanding in not just the Champions League, but through the WSL as well. And Berger, Eriksson, Anderson, Niamh Charles that stepped in for the injured Mara Mjelde, and then Millie Bright. They've put in such good performances, and if you've got a good solid base that you can build from, it enables those attacking flair players to have more freedom and to go out there and do what they can do and to shine. Yeah,
and we saw those attacking flair players in action today. They performed so well. I mean, you said it's almost like they read each other's minds at times.
Yeah.
Just a word on, I mean, Sam Kerr, she's won the Golden Boot now as well. What a season has she had?
Yeah, fantastic. And I think, you know, in the final, when she missed all those opportunities, I actually did the game on here, and a lot of people were on Twitter saying, you know, how could they bring in a player like this? I played against Sam Kerr in America a number of times, and she's one of the best players in the world. It takes some time to adapt to another country. She's come in during a global pandemic, you know, and settling in. So those things make a difference. But she's been amazing, and I knew as soon as she got her first couple of goals, the confidence would come. But what I like about this Chelsea team is that they just seem they have a really good team spirit. And when we won it in 2007, when I won it with Arsenal, we had that. You know, team camaraderie. It's not just about having the best players. You have to have players that want to do, you know, be selfless and do things. And with Sam and Fran, what we're seeing is they seem to want each other to do well, and that makes a difference. You don't have to always be everyone's best mate, that's not what I'm saying, but you can see, you know, the selflessness in his team, and that just goes to show what a great job Emma Hayes has actually done, because this has been like a 7-year process.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you speak about the togetherness of the players. You mentioned Emma Hayes there. I mean, Siobhan, credit to Emma. A huge amount of credit has got to go to her.
Most definitely, and I think, like Leanne said, it's been a long period that this team's been building, and I think you've got to look at her recruitment. You bring in the number of players and the quality of players that she's brought in. It's been phenomenal, but you've got to keep these players happy. You can only play 11 players in any one game, so how do you keep players happy that are sat on the bench, that aren't even making the squad, and still make them combine as a team to put in these performances week in, week out? So much credit has to go to Emma Hayes.
Yeah, and attention, as you mentioned, Leanne, now turns to the Champions League. A huge, huge final for them. I mean, how do they go about preparing for that? I guess they almost have to kind of think, right, we've won the title, but we've now got to think about that.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult game. Barcelona are a really good team. I think the only thing Chelsea definitely need to do better, if I was being hypercritical, is sort out the back line, the communication, because in these types of games you might get away with that type of miscommunication. But in the game like next week against Barcelona, they've got amazing players, and I think it's going to be a fantastic game. But I do think Chelsea will win. I think I have a good feeling, when you get that feeling about a team, and I feel like it's almost like now or never. They put a lot of investment in winning the Champions League. They've won the league before. Emma Hayes has put a lot of investment in this Champions League, and it's next week, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, and what about your take on this Champions League final, Siobhan? We've got a prediction from Leanne. She's backing Chelsea. What do you think?
I've got to back Chelsea as well. I watched the PSG Barcelona semi-final, and it was a great performance from both teams. They're both fantastic teams, full of talent, and as Leanne said, Barcelona aren't going to be a walkover. It's not going to be an easy game at all. They've got some fantastic talent, and they score a hell of a lot of goals. So that's when Chelsea are going to need their big defensive players to stand up strong.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that one. Siobhan, Leanne, thank you very much for your company this afternoon. We've got to now reflect on what went on at the bottom of the WSL. Chelsea are champions. Bristol City, though, they are relegated. Sue Smith, you were watching the game between Brighton and Bristol City. You did give us that prediction at the start. You thought Bristol City might have a chance, but it wasn't to be this afternoon.
No, it wasn't. Can you just delete that prediction from the very start of the show? But yeah, I just had a feeling for Bristol City. I thought I'd watched them in the last few games, and they've been unlucky at times. I watched them against Manchester United. They conceded that own goal in the 80th minute, but they created chances themselves. And I thought they could go into this game and get a result. I know Brighton are a good, strong, solid, well-organised side, and I knew Hope Hall would make sure it was difficult for Bristol City, but I just thought they had enough to do something. Other results didn't go their way in regards to Arsenal beating Aston Villa. So it was always going to be a tough ask, but I thought that they could do it. And you can't say anything about their effort and their endeavour today, because they really did give absolutely everything, but the quality probably just wasn't there. And Brighton were very professional when they had their opportunities. They took them, and they'll be very happy with their performance. But you could see at the end of the game, the Bristol City players, they were all in tears. They were absolutely devastated, getting relegated from the WSL. But I just think they give themselves too much to do at the start of the season. They couldn't pick up a result. They were getting heavy defeats, which was certainly affecting their confidence. But they started to get better as the season went on. So it's a real shame for them, but I'm sure they'll build, and I'm sure they'll come straight back.
Yeah, and Sue, we've got to get your take on what happened at the top there today as well. Chelsea, deserved champions.
Oh, absolutely brilliant they've been, and I personally think that they can go and get the quadruple. It's going to be difficult for them, but I just think that the strength and depth that Emma Hayes has got, and the girls alluded to it before, the way that she's able to keep that team spirit and that team togetherness, because I think that's so important when you've got such a big squad and you've got quality players sat on the bench. They all want to play, but she's able to keep them happy and keep them competing for those starting 11 places. But the forward line, Sam Kerr, Fran Kirby, the telepathy between those two has been frightening this season. And defensively, again, Berger has been outstanding in goal, but you've then got your spine of the side with Eriksson and Millie Bright at centre halves. You've got a good, strong midfield, and then you've got the creativity going forward. So thoroughly deserved, and it was great that it went towards the end, the final day, Manchester City pushing them all the way, but Chelsea are certainly deserved winners.
Sue, brilliant stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Let's get to Suzanne Winters. Suzanne, you've been watching the game between Arsenal and Aston Villa today. Villa, a really good point for them.
Yeah, look, they done everything that was asked of them and more today. They left everything on that pitch, and I think we could see that at the end. They all just hit the deck. I think they were so tired. But look, Marcus Bignot obviously had objective to go out and get the point that they needed if the other results didn't get their way. So they were great today, and credit has to go to them. They had the game plan and they stuck to it, and obviously they got the draw. And they were delighted at the end, and I'm actually delighted for them because I think they deserved the draw today. And Arsenal would maybe be feeling a wee bit frustrated because they did have majority of the possession throughout the game, but Aston Villa resilient in defence, so credit has to go to them today. And I think that this is the best WSL that we've seen, and I think it just shows how far it's come. That the last league game we're going to, that it's not just one that's running away with the title, and then obviously at the bottom it's not one just one team that's really struggling. So, you know, there's a lot of emotions today. There'll be a lot of heartache and obviously celebrations today. So I think it's been a great WSL, and you know, I think it's great, and I'm really looking forward to the future of women's football.
Yeah, indeed. And I mean, do you agree with what everyone else has been saying? Deserved winners in the end, Chelsea winning the title for a record 4th time this afternoon.
Yeah, 100%. Their squad's just exceptional. As Sue said, I agree. I think they've got the chance to get the quadruple. I think it will be difficult, but the quality they've got throughout their squad, and you know, even if you look at their bench, I honestly don't know how, as Leanne said, Emma Hayes keeps her squad happy. But you know, that's credit to Emma Hayes. You know, there's a great momentum with that squad, and you know, the team spirit. So yeah, I think they'll go on to win the Champions League next weekend, and it's credit to Emma Hayes. Certainly, I think they've been exceptional this season.
Suzanne, good stuff. Thank you very much indeed for your company this afternoon. Yeah, so there we have it. Chelsea are the champions of the WSL. Thanks again to Leanne Sanderson and Siobhan Chamberlain and Sue Smith and Suzanne Winters and Anton Touloui as well for keeping across all the action. Just a reminder that the WSL will be live right here on Sky Sports next season, so you can keep across all the action with us.